Hello and welcome. My name is Russell Mariani, and I am the co-founder of the Center for Functional Nutrition here in South Hadley, Massachusetts. And what I'd like to do today is share a few thoughts with you about functional nutrition, some of the key principles and some of the key practices, something I call the roots of health, the 7 root cause areas for all health problems, all negative health problems, and their solution. So what is functional nutrition? Functional nutrition is a set of principles and practices that, when understood and practiced consistently, results in the regaining of normal functioning of the body, maintaining normal functioning of the body, or optimizing normal functioning of the body. And when we achieve any of those 3 things, that is a good definition of health. When everything is functioning normally and everything is functioning the way it was designed to function, we should be symptom-free, no negative health symptoms at all, and manifesting the symptoms of good health, good energy, good sleep, good skin, good bowel movements, no joint pain, no headaches, just feeling good all the time. So basically, one of the most important things to start with is just a couple of key ideas, a couple of key principles. Number 1, we live and die at the cellular level. Number 2, the body is constantly healing itself. And number 3, nothing is neutral. So let's talk a little bit more about these key principles and then the practices that come out of them, the root cause areas. So physical health is the foundation upon which we build the rest of our lives. And the quality of our physical health depends upon the quality of the life of our cells. If our cells are healthy, we are healthy. We live and die at the cellular level. So any health problem that exists, from the most minor to the most serious, is the result of damaged and dysfunctional cells. It's that simple. So then the question is, how do the cells become damaged and dysfunctional? And the answer to that question is imbalances and deficiencies in one or more of the 7 root cause areas. So we will get to that momentarily. Okay. And then the second idea is that the body is constantly healing itself. The body is genetically programmed to heal itself. Every cell of our body is genetically programmed to heal itself. This is the principle of homeostasis. And homeostasis says that when it comes to the impacts, when it comes to the decisions that we make about what we eat for breakfast, lunch, dinner, snack, what we take as supplements, what we take as medication, how we move through our day, all the influences that affect us, nothing is neutral. Not one of those decisions is neutral. Not one of those impacts is neutral. Everything is either helpful to our body, helpful to the way the cells have been designed to function, or it's actively harmful. I call these 2 sides of the coins complementary habits, influences, foods, beverages, behaviors, influences, or insulting. So nothing is neutral. Everything is either complementary or insulting. So obviously it becomes very important to know the difference between the complementary foods, complementary habits, complementary influences in our diet and lifestyle. So basically the role of a functional medicine or functional nutrition counselor, guide, teacher, mentor is to help you understand the difference between the complementary things that you're doing in your life, in your diet, and the things that are insulting. Basically, you can, and I have successfully helped people restore their health from a whole variety of negative conditions by identifying the insulting habits and behaviors and foods and supplements, etc., and either minimizing their negative impact or avoiding them completely while we focus on the complementary habits, behaviors, influences, etc. Okay, so where do we find these complementary, or insulting habits and influences. So over the years, we've developed 7 areas, the 7 root cause areas, and that's what I'd like to talk about next. So root cause area number 1 is what we call mindfulness. And mindfulness definitely relates to being proactive, taking responsibility for our health. It means generally being aware, more aware than usual, paying attention to all the things, paying attention to the cause and effect relationship of the things we eat and the things that we do. And then what I have found specifically related to nutrition and health and digestion, absorption, assimilation of nutrients is that it's not only important that we focus on what we eat, but we focus on when we eat, where we eat, why we eat, and how we eat. So again, most people know that you're supposed to chew your food properly, each mouthful before swallowing, but many people don't do that. And so the lack of proper chewing becomes an insulting habit, and it could be the cause of your acid reflux, your indigestion, your gas, bloating, and cramping. That one simple habit, okay? And so eating too fast, eating when you're angry, eating when you're upset, eating to fullness causes all kinds of problems. We should always eat and leave a little room, eat to maybe 80% fullness. Eating late at night, eating or drinking cold beverages can cause digestive system upset, can cause other problems downstream. The habit of drinking cold things can cause headaches. Okay, so the basic idea is, again, nothing is neutral. Everything is complementary or insulting. So in this first root cause area, we look at our habits with the perspective that nothing is neutral. Everything is either helpful or harmful. Everything is either complementary or insulting. So root cause area number 2 is proper daily hydration. This is another one of those habits where everybody knows this is true. There's no argument anywhere on the planet that human beings need to be properly hydrated in order to regain, maintain, or optimize their health and well-being. In fact, excuse me, most people have their own water bottle or 2 or 3 or 4 water bottles. So, but drinking water is not enough. The basic idea here is the body, the basic building block of everything that we are cells. The body is composed of 100 trillion cells, and every single one of these cells has requirements for water. 55 to 75% of the physical structure of every cell of our body is water, but it's not tap water and it's not distilled water. It's water infused with micronutrients, water infused with enzymes and hormones, and all the amazing biochemicals inside of our cells that we need to restore, maintain, optimize function. So the best method I've discovered to achieve proper daily hydration is something we refer to as the water cure or the water cure recipe. It's based on body weight and activity level. So I weigh 200 pounds. The formula is we drink half our body weight in ounces of water per day. And typically, I usually make a quart at a time. We also add a small amount of sea salt, organic quality sea salt, to the water because the sea salt has an alkalinizing influence, which is good. Most of the negative things in our diet are too acidic, causing acid to form, or which triggers inflammation. So by adding the salt, we create an alkalinizing influence, but we also allow at the cellular level for the water molecules to be absorbed more effectively, more efficiently into the cell itself. So the formula is half our body weight in ounces of water per day. Now you don't glub, glub, glub. You don't drink 8 ounces at a time or 10 ounces at a time. One of the things that we've observed over the last 25 years, that since I learned this method of proper daily hydration, is the importance of sipping small amounts of water throughout the day. I like to tell people to divide the day into 4 quarters. The first quarter being from the time you wake up until you sit down for breakfast. And you want to drink a certain amount of water in that time before anything else goes into your body. And that will do many, many helpful things. When we wake up in the morning is when our body is the most dehydrated after sleeping for 6, 7, 8, 9 hours or more. It's also the most acidic and the most toxic that it's going to be, because while we were sleeping, our body was detoxifying and repairing. So it's very important in the morning to drink a certain amount of water. Depending on your body weight, I would say a minimum of 12 ounces. At my weight, 200 pounds, I drink a whole 32 ounces of water in that first hour before I sit down and have my breakfast. So again, it varies from person to person, but you want to drink a certain amount, usually 16, 20, 24 ounces, kind of in that area. Minimum would be like 12 ounces. And then you have your breakfast. And then after breakfast, the time between after breakfast and before lunch is what I call the second quarter. And you want to drink another amount of water, somewhere 20, 24 ounces, so that by lunchtime, you're either at half the total that you're due to consume or close to it. So that in the third quarter, which is really the longest amount of time after lunch and before dinner, you want to be able to drink another 24, 32, 36 ounces, so that by dinner time, you're either 100% there to your daily quota, or you're 90% there. And that way, in the time after dinner and before bed, you're drinking very little water, maybe a few sips, maybe a few ounces. Because if you drink too much water in that time after dinner and before bed, you'll be waking up to pee. So even though I drink 100 ounces of water a day, I don't wake up 3 or 4 times to pee. I wake up once. And that one time is usually half an hour before the alarm goes off. So even though I'm drinking a lot of water during the day, half my body weight in ounces, it's in no way interfering with anything. And it's certainly not interfering with my sleep. Okay, so there's a lot more information about the water cure in my book and on our website. Root cause area number 3 is micronutrient deficiencies. Root cause area number 4 is macronutrient imbalances and excess. So we talk about micronutrients and macronutrients. These are the 2 types of nutrients. The macronutrients are the actual food that we see on our plate, the whole grains, beans, vegetables, fruits, seeds, nuts, fish, fowl, chicken, turkey, etc. All the foods that we're familiar with in our wonderful whole foods cornucopia. The micronutrients are the nutrients that we can't see, the invisible nutrients like vitamins and minerals and trace minerals and amino acids, which are the building blocks of protein, and antioxidants and essential fatty acids and pigments like chlorophyll, the blood of green plants, which is the primary reason why we should be eating green foods, chlorophyll-rich foods, because these chlorophyll-rich foods are good for our own blood quality. By eating chlorophyll, the blood of green plants, it's like giving ourselves an infusion of very good quality blood. Chlorophyll carries oxygen to our cells. And so again, that's a very important part of the overall nutritional picture. So micronutrients include all the vitamins, all the minerals, all the trace minerals, all the things that I mentioned earlier. And we should be getting these micronutrients from our whole foods. But I have found over the years that it's very difficult, if not impossible. And so over the last 30, 40 years, we have the development of multivitamin, multimineral supplements and superfood supplements. So I look at superfood supplements as the best source for the difficult to get micronutrients in the food supply. So in my approach, in my program, we use a superfood supplement combined with digestive enzymes and probiotics to help provide more nutrients, micronutrients to our body, and to help extract more micronutrients from the whole foods that we're eating. Okay, and root cause area number 4, macronutrient imbalance and excess. And in the modern American diet, the biggest mistake, the biggest insult is the consumption of refined carbohydrates. A lot of the current diets are very popular in saying to not eat carbs at all, but this does a tremendous disservice to complex carbohydrates, which really have been the staple foods for most of humanity over the last many thousands of years. So complex carbohydrates like cooked whole grains, cooked beans, all your vegetables are complex carbohydrates. All your fruits are complex carbohydrates. All your seeds and nuts are complex carbohydrates. Fermented foods, complex carbohydrates. So you certainly can't be healthy and not eat carbs. So, but you want to make the distinction between complex carbohydrates, whole foods, as opposed to refined carbohydrates. And refined carbohydrates are refined carbohydrates are the major source of imbalance, of insult in the modern diet. And refined carbohydrates, any type of refined sugar, including the sugar in candy and soda and things like that, candy bars, snack bars, meal replacement bars. Often these things are touted as healthy foods, but often they're just glorified candy bars. Okay, so refined carbohydrates, again, anything made from flour. So pasta is a refined carbohydrate. Oatmeal is a refined carbohydrate. Steel cut oats, refined carbohydrate. The only way to get the benefit of whole grain is to eat them in their whole seed form. And you can't eat raw wheat or raw rice or raw oats or raw barley. So you have to soak them, you have to cook them properly. But when you do, and eat them properly, chew them properly. But when you do, it's a major piece of the puzzle. It's a major complementary food. And in terms of the fiber provided by cooked whole grains, cooked whole cereal grains, this turns out to be one of the best sources of fiber for the microbiome, which is the fifth root cause area. We'll talk about that momentarily. So again, when we look at macronutrients, we want to make sure we're making this distinction between whole foods and processed foods. Consume the whole foods and stay away from processed foods and artificial foods and GMO foods and things like that. Choose organic quality foods. And then even among the organic quality foods, we have to make the additional distinction between complex carbohydrates and refined carbohydrates. So butter, flour, sugar combinations, cookies, cakes, pies, donuts, bread, pasta, all of these things are refined carbohydrates, and they can and will lead to imbalances in the diet, over acidity, inflammation, oxidative stress, etc. Okay, root cause area number 5 is something called intestinal dysbiosis. Intestinal symbiosis means that your gut ecosystem, the intestinal microbiome, is really healthy. And let's take a quick look at the digestive system. It starts in the mouth, goes down the throat, and then the stomach, and then you have 24 feet of small intestine and 5 to 6 feet of large intestine. It's a tremendous surface area. In fact, if you were to lay it all out flat, it would cover an entire tennis court. And living inside that vast ecosystem are trillions, hundreds of trillions, some scientists estimate thousands of trillions of bacteria. Now, you're supposed to have 80% of all the bacteria that live in the digestive system be probiotic. Probiotic means for life. And these refer to the healthy bacteria. There have been over 2,000 different strains of probiotics discovered so far. Now, if you had 80% or more of the total amount of bacteria in your digestive system be probiotics, you would have very good energy. You would have no gas, no bloating, no cramping, perfect bowel movements every day, no loose, urgent, frequent bowel movements, no constipated bowel movements. You'd have great skin. You'd have good energy. You'd have good moods. and no joint pain, no muscle aches, your overall health would be dramatically improved when you have a healthy intestinal microbiome. So that's intestinal symbiosis. Intestinal dysbiosis means basically that the weeds have taken over the garden. Intestinal dysbiosis means that instead of 80% probiotics and 20% or less dysbiotics, you may have 70-30 or 60-40 or 50-50 or percentages on the opposite side, 40-60 dominated by bad bacteria, 70% bad bacteria, even 80% or more. And so that's what's called intestinal dysbiosis. Now, these bacteria are not just hanging out in your digestive system. They have voracious appetites, they eat our food, and they produce waste products. The difference is the waste products of the healthy bacteria are all health promoting, health enhancing. Some of the waste products of the probiotics include the most powerful antibiotics ever discovered. Some of the waste products from the probiotics include all of our B vitamins. And B vitamins are essential components of our immune system cells. The waste products of the probiotics regulate the pH throughout our entire digestive system. And so when that is regulated, we don't have gas or bloating. The waste products of the probiotics include digestive enzymes and hormones that regulate the peristaltic muscles throughout our digestive system. So you get the picture, you get the idea that it is the waste products of the healthy bacteria that are all health promoting and health enhancing to all aspects of your digestive system. But if you have intestinal dysbiosis, you have an overgrowth of the wrong kind of organisms. The weeds have taken over the garden. And this includes bacteria, bad bacteria like E. coli bacteria. But it also includes yeast and mold and fungus and parasites and worms. There's all kinds of pathological organisms that are grouped into this community of bad organisms that we refer to as dysbiosis or the dysbiotic material. Now, these organisms also have voracious appetites. They eat your food, digest your food, and eliminate waste products. But the waste products of the bad organisms, the waste products of the dysbiotics, are toxic to your digestive system. They cause gas, bloating, cramping, loose, urgent, frequent bowel movements, and constipation. It's the waste products of the bad organisms that are toxic and cause all the negative symptoms, including inflammation of the small and large intestine. And if you have inflammation, you may also have a condition called leaky gut syndrome, intestinal permeability, where the tight junctures along the wall or lining of your intestines opens slightly. And then, unfortunately, that allows for the toxins that are supposed to stay contained in your small and large intestine to literally leak out into the bloodstream, and then they become systemic, and they go all throughout the rest of your body and can cause many downstream negative effects, like headaches, like joint pain, like skin disorders, like mood disorders. So again, everything is downstream of the microbiome. So in my program, described in the book, and when I work with people one-on-one, we use a series of specialized herbs to go into the system and neutralize the toxins that are being caused by these bad organisms, the dysbiotic organisms, and then kill them, and then safely escort them out of the body into the toilet bowl in the form of a normal bowel movement. So again, this process is not a flush, it's not a cleanse that causes you to go to the bathroom 10 times a day or anything like that. It's very comfortable, 1 or 2 or at the most 3 times a day, normally looking and feeling bowel movement. So it's a huge piece of the puzzle. And for many people, if they do not address and effectively resolve their condition of intestinal dysbiosis, no matter what else they do. Even if they're doing everything in the other 6 root cause areas correctly, they'll see either little improvement or no improvement at all. So again, this area, root cause area number 5, intestinal dysbiosis, I wrote a whole book about this and how to address it and how to resolve it. Okay. Root cause area number 6 is called oxidative stress. I once heard a functional medical doctor describe it this way. 90% of all adult negative health conditions are caused by, are chronic and degenerative in nature. The other 10% being acute infection. And then he said, but 100% of all the chronic degenerative conditions are caused by oxidative stress. So oxidative stress is the medical term for inflammation. And inflammation, all inflammation, no matter where it's caught, no matter where it's happening in the body, is caused by excess free radical damage. Free radicals are molecules smaller than cells, much smaller than cells, that are operating at the level of electron transfer, electron activity. And free radicals steal electrons and then destabilize the structure of the molecule, which is then making up the structure of the cell. This is well known to science, and those free radicals are often called oxidants. And this is where we get the term antioxidant, antioxidant nutrients, antioxidant foods, antioxidant supplements. So literally, you can think of all the complementary habits and behaviors, all the complementary foods, all the complementary supplements are antioxidant in their effect, are anti-inflammatory in their effect. And that's why it's so important to not just take antioxidant vitamins, but to be mindful of your habits, to be properly hydrated, to address micronutrient deficiencies, to address macronutrient imbalances, to get your intestines working properly, get rid of dysbiosis, reestablish symbiosis, and to address specifically any other areas of oxidative stress and minimize it, and in many cases, eliminate it. Your whole body will respond. There isn't any type of inflammation that cannot be addressed in the ways that I've been describing so far. Okay, root cause area number 7 is my favorite subject of the last 10 years, and it's called redox signaling molecules, deficiencies, and imbalances. So again, there's a big section in the book that describes this, and I have several videos to describe this. I'll just give you a very short explanation here. Redox signaling science is relatively new science. It was first discovered in 1997. Redox signaling molecules were discovered for the very first time in 1997. In 1998, the scientists who made this discovery won the Nobel Prize for medicine and physiology. Since 1998, laboratories around the world have been trying to biosynthesize these molecules, which are made in every cell of our body. So redox signaling molecules are made, they're native to the human body. Our body makes them. Our cells make them. The mitochondria, the little energy factories inside every cell of our body, make redox signaling molecules. But due to age, due to environmental stress, due to dehydration, due to all of the imbalances and inconsistencies that can happen in our diet and lifestyle, our body produces less and less of these redox signaling molecules. So there is a very real need to replenish them through supplements to get back to normal levels. There is something called the redox potential of our cells. There is something called redox homeostasis throughout our whole body. So as I started to say, starting in 1998, laboratories around the world have been trying to biosynthesize these molecules and put them into supplement form. But as far as I know, only one company has succeeded in doing this, and that company came out with the world's first redox-based cell signaling supplement in 2008, 2009, led by a team of scientists, a team of scientists led by Dr. Gary Samuelson, figured out not only how to make these redox signaling molecules from a very simple solution of water, distilled water, deionized water, and pharmaceutical grade salt, which is pure sodium chloride, through an electrochemical process, breaking down those 4 or 5 atoms, hydrogen, oxygen, sodium, chloride, and I believe nitrogen is in the mix, breaking them down into their subatomic particles where they can reconfigure themselves into redox signaling molecules. Redox signaling molecules are very tiny. They're the smallest actor in our physiological dance. They're 2 atoms in size, 3 atoms in size, 4 atoms in size. That's it. Now, what do these redox signaling molecules do? Well, they signal. They are communication molecules. They are messenger molecules. They turn on genetic messages. They communicate between cells, and they are responsible for all communication inside the cell, inside every cell of our body. In fact, at the very moment that cellular damage starts to happen in any cell of your body, the cell's ability to detect that damage depends upon redox homeostasis, depends on whether or not your cell has enough of these redox signaling molecules to detect the damage and then to send a message to the nucleus of the cell for the remedy, because every cell has the ability to not only detect the damage as it's occurring, but to fix and repair the damage before that cell goes on to duplicate or replicate. And basically, all health problems have their origin in damaged cells. So you can see just from this simple explanation that if you can either stop the damage from happening or detect it immediately and repair it, then your cells will continue to replicate in a very healthy way. But all health problems occur when damage has occurred and the damage doesn't get repaired. So I've used this supplement, this redox signaling supplement, every day for the last 10 years. And it is the most significant thing I have discovered in 45 years of looking for such things. So not only is it a breakthrough, a biomedical breakthrough, a biotech breakthrough, but for many people, it is the missing link. You could be doing everything else correctly in the other 6 root cause areas. But if you have a redox signaling imbalance or deficiency, you'll either see very little progress or none at all. So this is a real game changer, and it is a breakthrough for humanity. And please contact the office or through our website if you would like more information about the redox signaling supplement. And in fact, if you'd like more information about any of the things I've talked about today in the 7 root cause areas, and whether you'd like to purchase the book or get more information, all of that will be available through our website. So thank you very much for listening. Thank you very much for the gift of your time and your attention today. I hope this was interesting. I hope it was helpful. And on behalf of all of us here at the Center for Functional Nutrition, I'd like to say bye for now and hope to see you again real soon.